It's the morning after. Standpoint, I have a few thoughts I need to share. Yesterday, the Ministry of Communication, Digital and Technology and Innovation held an online session in response to weeks of intense public conversation around the NITA bill, a piece of legislation that's supposed to govern how Ghana's tech ecosystem will operate. If you're new to this conversation, here's what you need to know. For the past 2 weeks, there has been heightened and very vocal concern from Ghana's tech community about what this bill means for the ecosystem they've spent years building, largely without government support or infrastructure on their own. The ministry's response to that concern was to call this session. And here's the thing, if there have been prior stakeholder engagements around this, that's great. That's how this process is supposed to work. But when this much concentrated cross-platform civic interest is raised, especially when it's not tied to any organized opposition or propaganda, but it's just people responding to something that directly threatens their livelihood. The right response is to lean into that energy and to recognize it as an opportunity, not to treat it as a noise that needs to be managed. So now let me talk about what actually happened in that session. The minister spoke for about an hour before a single question was taken. And they opened the floor. 5 questions from the room, 5 questions from Twitter, 5 questions from Facebook, and then began to wrap up. In a session that was convened specifically because thousands of people expressed fear, mistrust, anger about a piece of legislation, this was barely a response. And here is what particularly made genuine engagement impossible. In this session, we discovered that the bill that everyone had been reacting to was version 0, and that there was a version 5, and that we will find what it contains. We'll find out what it contains when it has gone through the process. Every single concern raised could be sidestepped with 4 words. That is not current. And frankly, that's a problem, not because their fears were addressed, but because the goalpost was removed even before the session began. If the current version of the bill was genuinely not available for discussion, then come with a framework. Come with the principles that are underpinning the legislation. Open the floor and ask, within these parameters, what does this ecosystem need to thrive? What are your specific concerns? How can we address them before this is finalized? That is what meaningful engagement looks like, even when the final document is not yet ready. Instead, we got a closed door, which was packaged as an engagement. And then we were told that the NITA bill is not the only bill. There are multiple other bills coming, and there's an umbrella bill covering all of them. No details, no timeline, no clarity. If the goal was to reduce fear, announcing a broader legislative umbrella with no explanation achieved the exact opposite.